We are going to have an amazing total body experience today with a 1-hour intense Pilates workout. Hi, my name's Mariah. Welcome to Wealthy Boss. If this is your first time coming by, I'm so glad you did. I bring new workouts every single week here on YouTube and on my website. I bring you barre, yoga, Pilates workouts like this one, and some meditations. So if you're into that kind of thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now, get ready to burn. We know that Pilates is a slow burn, and we're really going to sculpt our bodies head to toe today. I will be utilizing an optional bender ball, which is my favorite Pilates ball. If you don't have a Pilates ball, you could try rolling up a small towel, or honestly, we're going to have plenty of work for you to do if you don't have any of the props. We are definitely going to give ourselves a run for our money. Now let's get to work. All right, let's go ahead and come all the way onto our backs. Starting off with some nice breath activation. We're going to take our hands all the way around the ribs. So we wrap our thumbs around the back edge of the ribs, 4 fingers around the front. Allow the eyes to close as we turn into our experience of the breath. Taking the inhale through the nose, feeling the ribs expand as it presses into those fingers. And then exhale, pull the belly in, feeling those ribs knit together. Good. Inhale again. Feel the ribs expand. Taking your inhales through your nose and then your exhales through the mouth. Taking those nice and slow. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, through pursed lips. You're continuing to breathe like that. Every time that you exhale, thinking about pressing the air all the way out of the lungs by pulling the abdominals in. The reason we want to practice this breath work at the beginning of class is we are going to remind ourselves throughout the practice to deepen those inhales, those exhales, especially as we focus on an exhale through the mouth. We're going to engage a little bit deeper in the transverse abdominis, which means we're actually going to get more of a core workout. And of course, Pilates is a very subtle form of exercise. We work from the inside out. And the more attention we bring, the more intention that we set at the beginning of the stage, the more likely we are to bring our best, to find those nuances of the movement that are going to give us those powerful results. Last 2 powerful breaths in here. The eyes to open if you like. We're going to take our fingertips up to the ceiling now, dropping the shoulders down and then really lengthening through the back of the neck. So we always want to be mindful. You feel the chin is tilting up, see if you can almost tuck it slightly in towards the chest. Now on an inhale, without lifting the head, I'd like you to take the fingertips up to the ceiling another inch or 2. So you kind of feel the edge of those shoulders rounding away. And then exhale through the mouth, of course. We drop the fingertips by broadening the shoulders behind us. It's a subtle movement. Let's keep practicing that. Inhale, stretching those fingertips up. And then exhale, broadening that base. Now these can feel pretty gentle to begin with, and don't worry, we are going to dial up that heat in a moment. But it's important that we practice that scapular stabilization, because again, what we put into Pilates is what we get out of it. So we want to bring that awareness of where our shoulder positioning should be. So if you think about it, most of daily life, our shoulders are rounded forward like this. So we're just training ourselves to pay attention to the difference. See how different that shoulder placement feels when we broaden the shoulders underneath us. One more time, please. Perfect. Now we're going to take the thumbs all the way behind us to the carpet, or to the mat behind us. As we do that, shrug those shoulders up on the inhale, like you're trying to touch your ears. And then exhale, as you reach fingertips back up towards the ceiling, send the shoulders down away from the ears. So again, practicing the awareness of the difference of that shoulder placement. That's going to pay off so big when we experience the more challenging poses that we are warming up for. Good. Inhale, take the fingertips back, shrug those shoulders high, and then see how it feels to send them the opposite way throughout the rest of our practice. This is the position we want to find them in. One more time, please. Inhale and reach. Exhale, send them down. So take a moment here. I want you to feel what those shoulders feel like now. That they're broad, meaning we feel more of the mat underneath the shoulders, and they're really down away from the ears. That's going to give us the best placement for the best results as we start to get some of these really heated poses. Beautiful. Go ahead and tuck your chin into your chest now. Maybe for the first one of the day, go ahead and grab the thighs, pulling yourself up. You take a moment to get there. Beautiful. And then we're gonna get repositioned into a high kneeling position. All right, finding this high kneeling position. If you don't have a ball, no worries. We're just gonna have our hands on our hips for this next round of movement. Otherwise, if you wanna activate the chest a little bit, go ahead and take that ball, hold it right in front of the chest. Elbows are gonna come up. We're gonna take it into our thigh stretch. So here's where we start to find a little bit more heat. We're gonna press the hips back as you take the ball forward, and then powerful movement back up. So we're really keeping a straight line. So as the hips go back, the shoulders go even further, and then powerful exhale as we rise. Let's return to that Pilates breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Only leaning as far back as we need to start to feel a little bit of tickling in the tops of those thighs, or maybe a lot. It does not take very long for me to start to feel that. And if you do have hold of the ball, maybe you're just giving it a little extra squeeze, finding some work in that chest. Nicely done. So a lot of people think that core strength is all about the abs, and don't you worry, we are going to do a ton of ab work today. But really, core work is everything from the knees to the shoulders. All of those muscles in between have an impact in how the spine is positioned, how the workload is distributed to keep that spine symmetrical, which is the whole goal of Pilates. Joseph Pilates said you are as young as your spine is healthy. So we're doing everything we can to keep that spine healthy, which is going to help us find more mobility, more grace of movement. We'll be better cross-trained for any other workouts that we do. Whew, that's a doozy. Last one, please. And then maybe, with or without the ball, take your arms in front. We're gonna rotate open. Close, we're still in a diagonal. Oh my goodness, inhale, open. Exhale, close, just one more. Woo, it just got hot in here. Last one, still leaning. Oh my goodness gracious, you're gonna feel that one tomorrow, I can guarantee it. Now, taking our hands this time to the chest if you have the ball, otherwise just hands together in front of the chest. And feel like we're gonna try to squeeze that ball if you have it. We're taking it into a rotation here. Inhale, squeezing to the side. Exhale, return. Inhale, squeeze to the side. Exhale, return. Now I want you to continue to take these movements. But again, the Pilates is all about what we bring to it. So we can either make it easy or hard. Hey, we're here doing a 1 hour intense Pilates workout. I want to get every bit of value, every bit of benefit if I'm going to show up here and do the work. So notice as you rotate, notice if that hip wants to go with you. If so, we're really not getting the amount of work that we want. So see if your belly button is traveling as you go side to side, we're not really getting the full experience. What I want is for you to center those hips so belly button stays facing towards me the whole time. You're wrapping around from the top of the ribs. And see how much more difficult that makes the movement. Now we're trying to stabilize the pelvis so that we're wrapping the external obliques around the spine, and that's what's creating the challenge. Still using that Pilates breath. Really stabilize those hips. Don't let that belly button travel with you. If you have the ball, give it a little squeeze so we can activate a little bit in the chest. Last one. So So you see how stabilizing the hips really made a difference? That's not the last time you're gonna hear me talk about stabilizing the hips. Now the arms come overhead. If you don't have the ball, we're just gonna reach them up, drop the shoulders down. If you do have the ball, go ahead and give it a little squeeze, but drop the shoulders down. We're gonna reach up and over as we come into our lateral side flexion, and then take it back up. So it's your choice. A traditional Pilates breath, we would exhale as we reach, inhale as we rise, but this is a pretty tough movement. So if you want to take more of a fitness breath, that exhale on the way up, I personally prefer to really fuel that movement. It's going to give you a little bit more power. Inhale and reach, exhale and lift. Now, just like that other movement, we can make this easier or we can make it harder. And the goal here is to have as proper a form as to really make this as challenging as possible. So what I mean by that, we're already thinking about dropping the shoulders down, but we want to think about lifting up and over. Rather than to collapse in the side of the waist, we want to think about smoothing out that side of the waist and reaching up and over, almost like we had a little bar underneath that bottom rib that we're trying to just not quite touch. So just clearing that imaginary bar, taking it back. Good. Let's find 2 more in each direction. Give that ball a squeeze if you have it. Last one each side, please. Very good. Let's go ahead and release out of that. Give those shoulders a little bit of a roll forward and back. And then we're gonna get set up on all fours. So I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see, and we'll have that ball there close by for when we need it. Great, so I'll set that aside so you can see. So of course, anytime we're on hands and knees, we wanna think about spreading the fingers nice and wide. Wrists are right underneath the shoulders, and then those hips are stacked right on top of the knees. We also wanna think about broadening the shoulders. That's where I'm gonna remind you of that nice broad positioning that we practiced at the beginning of class. Now we're gonna take a right foot, step it behind you, take it back in. Now this is just to get set up for the movement that we're about to do. This isn't challenging, this is just a dry run of what the movement's gonna be. So far so good. Now what if you tucked the toes and then did the same thing? So you're stepping back, maybe this time tucking the toes back behind you as though you were about to step into a plank, and then step right back in, but notice how my knees are still just an inch or so off the ground, and then that back foot comes back, and step it in, and out, and in. Now, the more that we do this, the more tempted we're gonna be to start to let our knees crop higher and higher, and our bum, that's not what we want. We wanna keep it low, and that's gonna be what gives us the challenge. So we're not only giving our abdominals here and obliques a little run for their money, but we're also actually getting quite a bit of work in the quads by having them hover right above the mat. We're also getting some stability in the shoulders, so we're pressing that ground away, we're broadening the shoulders, and we're still taking that Pilates breath. Now this is great. You can continue to stay here. You can take a little recovery break anytime your wrists or your abs or your quads or anything else need it. Or maybe you choose to add on a little bit, and this is what that would look like. You would, again, hover at the knees, and this time stay on one side. Take the right knee into the chest first, and then extend it behind you. Hip height. Take it in on the exhale. Inhale and extend it behind. Stay low with that left knee. That's gonna be the challenge. It wants to hover. So good. Keep that left knee low. Equal distribution between the left and the right arm. Last one. Perfect. Now, I want those knees to come down. Take a quick child's pose in between. We've got so much more work to do, so I want to make sure we're pacing ourselves, taking those little resets anytime we need. Rock it forward, side 2. So hovering the knees, left knee comes in, extend that leg back out. Good. Exhale. Inhale. Whoops, see how that right knee wants to lift? Let's keep it low. You can always tap it down for a breather anytime you need. Good, let's have 3 more. Here's 2. Last one. Ooh la la, both feet come down. Take it back, child's pose, or technically in Pilates we call this shell pose. Catch your breath, a big old sigh out through the mouth. Ah, so good. And guess what? We're gonna build on. So we're actually gonna continue doing what we were doing. And I'm gonna add one little final sneaky layer on top to help light up the sides of the waist, those obliques. So we're gonna start just like we did before. We'll return to that front leg. Pull it in, extend it behind you. Now pause. This time, reach it out to the side. There it is. Back behind you, and we start all over again. Exhale. Inhale, extend it out. Exhale, side stretch. Whew, goodness gracious. There it is. Total body workout. Intense Pilates. You asked for it. You got it. Last time. Nicely done. Set the knees down. Stretch it back. Shell pose. And now we know what we get to look forward to on the other side. Rock it forward, please. Let's go. Hover those knees, keep them low. That's gonna be what keeps it more challenging. Knee comes in, extend it long, exhale, reach, take it back. Now as we do this, everything else stays super still. We don't wanna feel the weight transferring from side to side on the arms. We wanna keep that front knee low to the ground. You're doing amazing. I'm so proud you showed up here today. You're finding that fire, that control, and that grace. Last one. Take it down, stretch it out. Maybe take arms behind you this time. Big ol' sigh out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, sigh it out. Perfect. We have more work to do. This time we're gonna take that ball, take it between the inner thighs. So it's kind of a few inches up from the knees. We're gonna tuck those toes again. Why not? We love this. We are such experts at this position now. So we tuck the toes, hover the knees. It's gonna be an inch lift, squeeze, release, and tap. Lift, squeeze, release, and tap. So now we've invited those inner thighs to join the party. They didn't want to miss out. Whoops, just lost my little ability to speak to you here. There we go, let's keep going. Good, so the challenge here is keeping those knees low, giving that ball a nice little squeeze. And FYI, if you're using a Pilates ball, we want it to be a little bit deflated. That's actually gonna make the work on the body more intense. You're welcome. Being careful to pair this movement with the flow, the breath in and out. Beautiful. Last one, and then go ahead and keep those knees lifted next time. We're gonna pick the pinky toes out of the way. Do a little swivel, center, swivel, center. So the chest is staying still. We're only swiveling from the waist down, still keeping everything low. Still squeezing that ball if you have it. Last one. Perfect, set it down. Ball comes to the side. We'll see it again in a moment. We are not yet done with it. We're gonna come, actually let's give those wrists a little shake. That can kind of be a lot. Maybe even figure eighting them. I didn't know a number could become a verb, but I just made it a verb. We're figure eighting. Okay, let's get to work. Get back to work. This time we're gonna extend right leg or the front leg, whichever one is facing me, behind you. Let's square off in the shoulders and the hips, and just a simple lift and tap. Lift and tap. Now, what you're probably gonna be tempted in a few moments to do is to hike that leg up by taking that pinky, or the pinky side of the toe up to the ceiling. We'd rather keep that pinky toenail facing down towards the mat and then focus on really lifting in the belly as we take that leg high. That's gonna give us more work for the opposite booty, and then make those abdominals work a little for it as we look to stabilize the length of the spine. Very nice. Returning to that Pilates breath. Now we add another dynamic. So whenever we lift that leg next, we trace a little semicircle, tap the ground, and then tap behind us. So I call these little rainbow kicks. It's like we're forming the shape of a little rainbow. And I'm just gonna kind of kick that ball out of the way. I'm not actually aiming for it. Good. Now, notice if your hips wanna go side to side or your chest wants to kind of swivel as you do this. We're doing our best to keep that chest centered between those two thumbs. It's not so easy, but that means if the chest isn't moving, that means the obliques and the deeper core muscles are having to stabilize those hips. We're getting so much stability and control in that pelvic girdle, which is where we want it. So nice. Last time. Perfect. Take that knee down and we'll find it on the other side. So just the leg lifts first. It's a lift and tap, lift and tap. Good. It feels good to let that heart rate come down just a touch. But don't worry, we're gonna see more of that work in a little bit later. Very good. Now every time that hip is tempted to rise, I want you to square it down low. So we're not kicking super high here. Instead, we're focusing on the correct form, which is gonna help us feel it right in the seat of that supporting leg. Keep using that Pilates breath. Keep the spine long, keep the shoulders broad. Now we're ready for those rainbow kicks. So really stabilize everything around the belly button, all the way up to the chest, and then tap out to the side. Whoo, there it is. I would rather you have smaller little rainbows than to see your chest moving side to side, or your hips swaying side to side. There's so much stability and control here. You are in charge. You are doing so well. This is your choice to be here today. So right off the bat, that tells us what you're made of. You're so strong. You're thinking of the future. You're also thinking of how you're gonna feel at the end of this class and how those endorphins, how that strength are gonna carry you through the rest of your day. Here's two more, please. Last one, you're doing great. Perfect. There we go, hips side to side. Now we give the wrists a break, but not the booty. We're gonna take it onto the forearm on that back hand, and then that's gonna offset a little bit of the weight on that front hand. So front hand is actually still gonna have that elbow up to the sky, and that's gonna create a little bit of dysymmetry or asymmetry. It's gonna require the obliques to work a little harder. So here, we're gonna take that right leg up for a little fire hydrant and down. If you feel like you need to stabilize a little wider or change the positioning of that opposite hand, feel free to play with it a little bit, but really we want to keep the weight a little bit more in that left forearm. Very good. So just simple leg lift out to the side. We're feeling this a lot in the seat of the supporting leg, so the leg that's not moving. And now we're gonna start to add on. Take it higher, extend the leg out, in, and come back home. There we go. So the knee goes directly to the side. Just straighten that leg. Bend the heel back in towards the seat. Take it down. Amazing. So much strength and control here. You might feel a little bit along the outside of the waist as you take that leg long. Nicely done. Still breathing. Last one here, please. Good. And one more thing, stay with me. We're gonna come back up to that highest position, take the leg out, tap it down and up. Down and up. Ooh la la. That one will work, my friends. How about 4? Here's 3, 2, and 1. Other side, my friends. Take that front forearm down, back arm. We lift that elbow up to the sky. Kind of reposition if we need. Here we go. A little fire hydrant and down. So good and so proud of you. The good news is that we know we can do it because we already did it on side 1. Steady control over that breath. Beautiful. We're working the seat, the booty, why not? The glutes actually do matter a lot when it comes to the stabilization and mobility of the spine. Very good. Now we start to add on. Are you ready? We take it out. Straighten the leg. I kind of have to watch so I don't kick. So watch for any furniture around. Extend it out long. Woo, feel a little bit more line up in the abs and the waist as you send that leg cockeyed out to the side. So good, because the rest of the muscles then have to stabilize to hold on. We are getting stronger by the second. Good. One more. Nicely done. And then return it back, please, to that lifted position. It's tap and lift. Tap and lift. You got this. Yes, you can. Last two, my friends. Last one. Goodness gracious. I even felt that one a little bit in my chest. How about you? All right, we get to use our friend the ball again, if we're using it. Otherwise, even just tucking a little towel or washcloth will give you a little extra activation for those thighs. We're gonna give the wrists a break though, coming down on the forearms, and then kind of wiggle everything back until we come back into forearm plank. Wouldn't be a Pilates class without a plank now, would it? We're gonna give that ball or that towel little squeezes in. Pair with your breath. So it's almost more of a contraction than an actual movement of the limbs. Just a contraction of those inner thigh muscles. It's subtle. Lift the belly in and up as you take that exhale. Maybe a few more. You are welcome to drop those knees down anytime you like. Let's try to keep the hands separate from each other though, to make sure we're preserving the integrity of the chest and the collarbone structure. How about 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it down onto your chest. We're gonna see the same movement again in a moment, but let's give ourselves a touch of a break. Take that ball if you have it. If you don't, arms are gonna come out kind of wide of the mat, elbows slightly forward, and we're gonna lift up into our swan and down. If you do have that ball, however, hands come to the top of the ball, press down into it. We are gonna leave the tops of our feet on the ground, but then lift the kneecaps by contracting the fronts of the quads. Exhale, roll up, feeling some strength in the mid-back, and then inhale, peel it down, forehead to the mat. Again, exhale and lift, inhale and lower. Whether you're using the ball or not, we're trying to place as little weight as possible in the hands, so that the mid-back is more of the work. Staying firm in the legs, but the feet stay down. Use that Pilates exhale to lift, no matter which variation you're doing. Two more, please. Strengthening the back of the muscles in the back. Preserving our posture, preserving our symmetry. Perfect. Stretch back a little forward fold here by taking it into that shell pose or child's pose from yoga. Nicely done. Catch your breath here. We are about halfway done. You're doing amazing. Time is flying. Amazing. We're gonna roll it back down and then repositioning that ball or that towel if you have it between the inner thighs. However you need to shimmy into it. That was probably the most awkward way for me to tell you how to shimmy into it. So hopefully you did it a little bit more gracefully than I did. Now we reposition those elbows under shoulders. We're coming back into a forearm plank. You can do what we did before, or if you have the ball, I'm gonna give you another option. Otherwise you could ditch the props entirely and still take a variation of it without anything between the legs. So we're giving a nice little humble squeeze here, just steady, nothing too crazy, just steady pressure. And then if you have the ball, here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna lift the front leg, Give me a little squeeze, release, and tap. Same side. Lift, squeeze, release, and tap. Now, if you're working without any props, you would just leave the squeeze out of it, but you could still do a lift and tap. Lift and tap. But if you got the ball, give me that extra little squeeze for good measure. Keep breathing, keep the hips steady as you do this. I want the belly button staying in one place as opposed to rolling down and up, side to side. Amazing. Last one, please. Tap the knees down for a little breather. We got more work to do on the other side. And by the way, are we not getting a little bit of strength in the shoulders here as well? You betcha. Big ol' inhale. And then give me a lift, squeeze, release, and tap. Lift, squeeze, release, and tap. Find your resolve here. This will not last forever. We are almost there. Keep that belly button steady. Last one. Oh my goodness gracious. Go ahead and rock it up. Grab a sip of water and we're gonna meet side lying. Okay, now if we have that ball, we're gonna utilize it for a little extra just core stability challenge by pressing our hand down into it. Being careful to still stack the shoulders. If you don't have the ball, no worries. Hand would just come in front of your chest instead. Now, we take the top leg, lift it up, and it's gonna stay there. So we're gonna really try our best to keep that leg planted. Now that bottom leg, little inner thigh strength, comes to meet the top and down. So lift and tap. Now depending on how thin your mat is or how hard your floor is, it could feel better to put like a little towel or something underneath. There goes my earphone again. I'm just gonna keep rolling with it, guys. Nicely done. So again, we're trying our best. It's challenging to keep that top leg where it is. Very good. Squeezing that bottom one up like a little alligator jaw here. Last two. Last one. Excellent. Now, if you have the ball, it's gonna come between the ankles. If you don't, you'll just skip it. No worries, not a whole lot changes. It's just a little added dynamic. If you have the ball, take the legs long. We're gonna point the toes. Prop yourself up with your fingertips because I don't want you slouching, please. I want to really keep those shoulders stacked. Chest is lifted and proud, back of the neck is long, just like we practiced at the beginning of class. Give that ball a little squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze if you have it. Otherwise, you're just squeezing the legs together as though two legs had become one. And now both legs lift up and tap it down. Lift up, tap it down. Whether you have the ball or not, this becomes harder the more that you squeeze your legs together. So you're kind of working in opposition. Legs are squeezing together, but then the side of the waist is lifting everything up. Very good. So in Pilates, we always want to work the spine in all three directions. It was designed to move in. So here we're challenging the muscles at the top of the waist so that we can challenge that side-to-side movement of the spine. Oh my goodness gracious. How about three more? Here's two. Now hold at the top, hold at the top. If you have that ball, we're gonna give it a little squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Otherwise, just 1 inch apart with the legs and together, together, together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 4, 3, 2, 1. My goodness gracious. Go ahead and either ditch the ball. If you had it, you can take it back into the hand if you like, as we come into our clamshells. So toes are open, heels are together. And then I like to keep my pinky toenail on the ground, but if you prefer to have the feet lifted, totally up to you. We're still stacked in the shoulders, and it's a little connection at the knees. Open them back up. Connect them together, open them back up. Now, remember, Pilates is all about what you bring to the movement, not what the movement brings to you. So I want you to take your top finger, find that hip bone. Notice if you're taking it back in space. If so, you're not getting the full benefit of the movement. I want you to really keep that hip still, and then you're working right here from the side of the seat. We're working into our gluteus medius that helps keep our muscles balanced in the back of the booty as well as the side of the booty. Now this is important for helping things like keeping our knees happy and healthy. We want to balance out that musculature. That's why Pilates is such good cross training if you do a lot of repetitive movement sports like running or bicycling. Anything that's in that forward plane of motion, it's really important that we balance out, strengthen the side muscles, because otherwise we could begin to overcompensate, which can lead to things like tightness and injury. How we doing? These sneak up on you pretty fast. So we're gonna help accelerate that process now by keeping it lifted on the next time. Little 1-inch lift, lift, lift. We're isolating here now, a little tiny section of the side of the seat, fatiguing it here through that repetition of pulsing. We're opening that knee as high as it will go without rolling that hip back. Very good. Maybe little pulses with your exhale. Is it on fire yet? If not, we've got a little bit more love to show it. Relax that bottom ankle down, and we're gonna do a little close and lift. So just a simple leg lift. I'm not overly concerned with how high you get that knee up away from the bottom one. It's just that simple act of the abduction of the leg that's giving us that benefit. Still checking in with all our Pilates essentials like our shoulders, our chest, the back of our neck is long, our breath. That's what always makes the Pilates practice more impactful, those little details. Very good. Now could you hold the leg up about hip height? So imagine you have about a grapefruit distance between the bottom knee and top knee. Now without letting that top knee, or top hip, pardon me, fall forward, I'm going to kind of keep it glued where it is. Send that leg forward on a diagonal, whoo, there it is. And then a little hamstring curl without losing that imaginary grapefruit. Send it forward and back, forward and back. Whoo, now we're really starting to feel, if we hadn't already, quite a bit in the side of the seat. Try not to let that hip dip forward. Now here it is. Take it forward and hold. Give me little lifts up, up, up. Wow, so that addition of the long leg increased the lever against gravity, which is why this feels oh so special. Wouldn't you agree? We're almost there. Here's 5, 4, 3. I kind of lied. I have one more thing for you to do here. Point the toe for me. Draw me little circles one direction. It's so tiny. You can. Other direction, please. Whew, very good. This is so good for you. This is why you're doing it. 3, 2, 1. I'm glad you showed up with me today. We are going to be really glad we did this. Now, from here, we're going to press it up into a side plank on our forearm. So elbow comes right underneath the shoulder. We're going to press ourselves up into that nice side plank. So rather than collapsing into the shoulder, I'm pressing as far away as I can from that mat. And I'm going to do another little leg lift and tap. Why not? Leg lift and tap. Chances are it's been a while since the side of the body has gotten much love. Here's just 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now take that top arm up, elbow to the ceiling. Now give me a little curl forward and up. Curl forward and up, finding a rotation of that spine. Last one. Nicely done, set it down. Now, if you don't have a bender ball, you get the tiniest break. Grab a sip of water. If you want more, slide that bender ball or that Pilates ball under the hip. We're just leaning into it, so it's kind of between the hip and the bottom rib. And that bottom hand moves out slightly forward at a diagonal. We're gonna keep that top foot planted on the mat. That's our priority. Broaden the shoulders. I like to actually take my wrist away from the ground to remind myself it's all about the side of the waist. We inhale, lean down, and then exhale, use your waist to press you up. Now, I did promise in this title that this is an intense Pilates workout, and that term can be a little bit relative. So, if you're not quite feeling the intensity here, want to make sure you're getting your money's worth. Yeah, I know, you know this is free. We're gonna take that elbow down to the mat. Only if you need a little extra, but remember that foot needs to stay on the ground. That's the priority. Powerful exhales, you lift and tap. lift and tap. I'm so proud of you. How about 4? Here's 3. Use that out breath. And how was that for you? Let's spin around. We're gonna do that whole series on the other side. Oh my goodness gracious. So if you had that ball, you can just press it down into the mat. Otherwise, no worries. We can just have our hand on the mat instead. And we plant that top leg up, and then bottom leg goes lift and tap. Lift and tap. How still can you keep that top leg? Note to self, these earbuds don't love side-lying work. There we go. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Broaden those shoulders. It is so amazing that we get to work out together from each other's homes. Always an honor when you invite me into your living room. How about 2 more, please? Relax it down. Now, if you're using that ball between the legs, just gonna shimmy it between the ankles. Otherwise, stay where you were. Toes are gonna point, so we have nice long lines. And then with or without the ball or prop, we're gonna squeeze the ball together and then lift them up. Yes, so this is really taxing the side of our waist. It's a big focus for us today, if you hadn't noticed. Good, I'm so proud of you. We are closing in. Keep squeezing the legs together. Now is not the time to lose focus. Let's get the full benefit of this practice by bringing our full attention to it. 3 more, please. And then we hold at the top, remember. Hold, hold, hold. Give me a little squeeze of that bottom leg to the top. Lift, 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 lift. Yes, you can. Maybe a centimeter more for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So proud. Have I said that enough? Just want you to know, in case you were doubting it, I'm super proud of you. Take that ball, if you were using it, in front of the chest. Again, we're coming into clamshells. So knees come forward 90 degrees. You can keep that pinky toenail on the ground or not. Heels stay together though as we lift the knee up and down. So the first few reps of these feel pretty good. You're like, ooh, I got a break. And then all of a sudden they sneak up on you, don't they? Nicely done. Checking back in, making sure we haven't collapsed in the shoulders, making sure we're still breathing. And then the back of the neck, we always want to think about really lengthening so we're not crunching it into the chest. Nicely done. Remember those inhales through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Good. When you don't think you can open that knee any higher, so you can go another millimeter. And then of course, we're checking in with that hip, keeping it square on top of the bottom one. Nicely done. We're doing this so we can move better in life. This isn't just about strengthening our abs. This is about having more symmetry of movement, more grace, being able to do the things that are important to us, to stay mobile. Now give me those little 1-inch pulses at the top. It's lift, lift, lift. Squeeze it up. Even higher than you think you can. This won't last long. You've got it in you. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bottom leg relaxes, so the ankle relaxes. And then we tap it down and up. Simple side lifts now. So the ankles do separate. We don't have to get super high with that knee in order to feel it. I sure am feeling it, just at this nice little moderate range. Whew, goodness. I think of how proud you're gonna feel the rest of the day because you did this workout with me. Here's 4, here's 3, 2, now hold it at hip height, so remember about the size of a grapefruit between those knees. We send the heel forward and then a little hamstring curl. So my knee does not actually move forward and back, I'm just bending and straightening it. And then where do we feel the work more? Yeah, when that leg comes forward, for sure. Let's look at 3, and then you know what's coming, don't you? 2. Next time we hold it forward, little lifts up, up. There it is. Is one side harder for you than the other? Today, this side is definitely harder for me, but we're gonna muscle through it. I'm thinking of you hanging in there, and that's helping me hang in there today for you. Now hold that toe forward now, little circles forward, forward, forward. Yep, and back, 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 relax. Oh my goodness, that feels so good to be done with it, right? Okay, let's press ourselves now up into a forearm side plank. And then just 4 more. Lift, lower, lift, lower. Keep that bottom hip high. There it is. And then we take it, if you did that work with the Pilates ball on the other side, we lean into it, top leg comes long, bottom knee is bent, making sure you're centered from front to back, and then kind of wiggle that hand out. Wrist comes off the ground to remind us that it's all about the waist, not about the arm. Keep both shoulders away from the ears, exhale, lift. It's coming from the top of your waist. Imagine that the hand is not even there, and then of course, if you were taking that fuller variation, in fact, the hand does leave the ground. Keep the top foot on the mat though. It's wherever you are, you feel the exact same way as I do. Push to my limit, getting stronger for 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Now it's finally time to make our way onto our backs. Nice. We're going to come into a bridge series next. So we'll start with that ball between the inner thighs, if we have it. Otherwise, you can have a little towel that you're squeezing, or just carry on without. We want to broaden the shoulders. So just like we practiced at the beginning of class, we want to take the shoulders down so that we feel more of the mat underneath. Give the ball, if you have a little squeeze. We're going to start to peel up. And then it's going to be halfway down. Squeeze the ball, release, and lift. If you don't have the ball, obviously you're just taking it down and up. Nice. Always thinking about pressing the shoulders down when we're in our bridge. It's going to give you a little bit more power, a little bit more range of motion. Really lifting those hip points high at the top. And then the next time we come up high, we're gonna hold, okay? Good, hold, hold, hold. Both hips slide over to the right like a little typewriter, so they're the same height. Center, left, and center. So see how my hips are just like a typewriter ribbon? So they're not dipping, it's almost like a side stretch here. Nicely done. Keep breathing. Come back to center. Now it is a little dip, so we're gonna hip dip right, together, left, together. Right, together, left, together. So a little transfer of weight here, challenging the body in new ways. Good, it's a subtle movement. Now pause at the top, lift the heels, walk the toes in a little bit more. You got it. And then just either hold steady, or if you have that ball, it's gonna be squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Still breathing. Hopefully feeling that seat light up a little bit. So good. Here's 4, 3, 2, 1, and then keep the heels lifted as we lower down one vertebrae at a time. Awesome. Okay, heels come down. If you have the ball, we'll take it behind the right hamstring and the right calf muscle. If you don't have it, no worries. You're gonna do the exact same movement. You just won't have that same grip on the ball. So we're coming into a single leg bridge now, please. So pressing off that opposite foot. We're gonna try to keep the hips level. That's the most important thing here. As we lower that top heel to the ground, and then lift it back up. So watch that the leg doesn't dip. We really want to keep the hips high as we do this. Nicely done. You're in control. You're so strong. 2 more, please. Last one. And then let's set the hips down as we try the other side. Amazing. We're so close to the finish line, guys. Stay with me. I wouldn't want to be lonely here at the end. Don't make me do this alone. And we're going to lift. Now we know, keep those hips steady. As you drop that one foot down, take it back up. Drop it down. Take it up. You're really stamping the heel of that supporting foot into the ground. 3 more. Here's 2. Here's 1. And let's lower it down. I've got one more little fun thing for you. Again, the ball can come between the inner thighs if you're using it. Otherwise, not much else changes. Go ahead and lift the hips up. Now extend the leg. It's going to be at a diagonal, so it's pointing in the same direction as the knee. It's a lift, and then 3 inches down, 3 inches up. 3 inches down, 3 inches up. 2 more times, please. Use that powerful breath. Set that foot down. Side 2, here we go. It's down and up. Down and up. Just 2 more times. Last one. Beautiful. Go ahead and let it come down. Excellent. Now, if you don't enjoy lifting your head up for ab work, I don't, and there's a lot of new science supporting the fact that it's not really great for us. You could actually support it by having that ball just kind of relaxing behind it, or you could keep your head down the whole time for this movement. We're now going to come into our double leg stretch. We draw our knees into our chest and then extend them long on a 45-degree angle. Catch it back in. So we inhale, exhale, catch your knees. Good. We want to glue the arch of the back down into the mat here to avoid straining in the low back. Now, if you don't have the ball or you don't want it, or it doesn't feel nice for you, or you don't believe in it, all good. Keep the head on the ground. Let's go 2 more times. Perfect. And then let's take one leg up to the ceiling. The other leg extends long, like a little scissor. And then again, I actually prefer to keep my head on the ground, and I just remind myself to really pull my abdominals in, keeping the arch of the spine on the ground. And then do 2 sharp little exhales towards your face, and kick, and kick. One more each side. Perfect. We're going to take the ball if we have it. Let's slide it right underneath the ankles. So not between them, right underneath, please. We'll have those toes pointed. Broaden that base of the shoulders. Squeeze those legs together, whether you have that ball or not. We're going to go halfway down, no more than halfway, but keep the back arch down, flat on the ground, and squeeze back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, rise. How's that belly feeling? Mine is loving this. It's always so happy when we lengthen against gravity rather than doing a ton of crunches, which is round the spine forward, which is already where it kind of is the rest of the day anyway. So we want to do what we can to balance out where that spine is the rest of the day, which is to lengthen in the abdominals. Nicely done. Use that Pilates breath. You're going to get more out of it. Last one. Good. Now we're going to take the heels together, toes apart, whether you have the ball or not. Lower the heels until they're in line with the knees. We're in a little froggy position here. So knees are wide, but they're staying right on top of the hips rather than coming in towards the chest. And then squeeze the legs together at a diagonal. Take it back. Give me a little squeeze. Take it back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Get the inner thighs in on the action here. Our whole body is loving this workout today. Here's 4. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Ditch the ball for me if you have it. Both legs come up high. Squeeze the legs together. We're gonna draw a tiny little circle on the ceiling and close it. Inhale begins the circle. Exhale closes it. Inhale, exhale. Now again, find those hips. Pilates is all about the subtleties, the nuances of movement. If you notice your hips are swinging around, see if you can make your circles a little tighter. Draw the belly in a little tighter so that those hips stay a little quieter. And then reverse directions. Inhale, exhale. Here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw those knees into the chest. Give them a little squeeze. Maybe take them out to the sides. Rock it out. Whew. Literally and figuratively. All right, and then we're gonna push ourselves up, ending with a little bit of work against the ball, or you can roll up a thick towel. If you don't have the ball, I do want your low back to be protected for this one though. So we're gonna protect that back with a ball or towel, and then start to lean into it, finding a little bit of support there so the work transfers more into the abdominals instead. We're gonna gently lean back, take the arms up. Oh, there it is. Take the arms down, and then peel back up. Here we go. We're gonna lean back, take the arms up, take them forward, and doing amazing. You're only leaning as far back as you need to feel the abs light up. And if you don't have that ball, if you're just using a towel, you just want to be aware of that you're not putting any strain in your low back or your hip flexors. Now hold it in the back. Here we go. Let's do it. We're going to inhale, open. Yes. Exhale, close. Ooh, I know. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. If you're shaking, that's a good thing. We call this our earthquake ab series because it tends to have that effect. It means you're doing it right. How about 2 more? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Take the arms forward and slow, 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 slow. Perfect. Now, ready for more? Take the arms back with us. This time, take that front leg into a little toe tap. Now the back leg. Nice. So we keep that 90-degree bend in the legs. Now take it into a rotation. So legs do the same thing. Arms come to the outside. So you're tapping elbow to the outside of the knee. One more each side. Perfect. Take the arms low. We're gonna reach an elbow and then come up and center. Other side, elbow, up and center. Last time each side. Now take the arms up. We're gonna go slow, slow, slow for a count of 10, 9, 8. So we're leaning back. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now come back up slow. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull yourself up. Oh my goodness gracious. I am so happy that you joined me today. Today was no joke and you did absolutely amazing. Well, congratulations. If you made it this far, you deserve a virtual high five. It is always my goal that you feel better than you did before once we work out together. If that is the case for you, would you consider giving this video a little thumbs up? That would be so appreciated by me. And I also want to invite you, if you are working out a lot from home these days, to think about some ways to spruce up your space, make the experience a little bit more fun, inspiring, engaging, and more effective by a special gift I have put together for you. This is my free at-home fitness guide where I'm giving you some tips on designing your at-home fitness space, some space-saving solutions if you're anything like me and you're utilizing the same room or the same space for a ton of different purposes, as well as some of my favorite workout gear that really goes a long way in helping you get more effective workouts at home. So if you'd like to download that, you can check that out at wealthyboss.com/at home. So I will link to that in the description below. I hope you check it out. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that we can work out together again next week.